You're listening to the Talkin Dads podcast, brought to you by You Suggested. Visit our social media sites, twitter.com/Talkin Dads, @mention us @Talkin Dads, facebook.com/Talkin Dads, instagram.com/Talkin Dads. If you'd like to support us, please visit our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/Talkin Dads.
This is our holiday episode. Actually, I guess this is specifically a Christmas episode, right?
Christmas 2018, unless I got the year wrong.
Holla back, Lou.
Yeah.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Today, we are going to be tackling one tough subject, and that is the ethics of Santa Claus, that big, fat, red bastard.
Whoa. That's a lot of negativity for Christmas, my friend.
Is it? Because that's the main question here. Is it being negative when that person is a total lie?
I would say the person's not a total lie, so I think you're going down the wrong road. But, you know.
I know. I'm just breaking balls. I'm just trying to make it sound juicier than it actually is. But before we jump into that topic, the one thing that we do want to tackle right now are updates from everybody. How are you? How are your children? And what are your plans for the holidays? And I say let's kick it off with Earl.
My kids are leaving, and I couldn't be happier. I will miss them terribly. God, I need a break.
It's a pretty good Christmas miracle, I guess, right?
How
flying,
long are they gone for?
They're leaving until Christmas Day. They're flying back to Texas
Okay.
starting tomorrow, and then they're flying home the evening of Christmas Day. Frankly, because it's an easy travel day. The 25th is a really easy day at airports, so it's less stress-inducing with them flying on their own.
Nice.
Yep. So we'll do our Christmas dinner here on the 26th and give them gifts then.
That is awesome. What are you guys doing for Christmas Eve then?
Drinks.
Ladies, I have been.
It's like I
have had eggnog in the fridge since August. Fermenting. So no, you can keep eggnog for a year, almost 2 years, if you do it right.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it lasts forever.
The alcohol in it kills everything.
Until it's alcohol only?
Yeah.
I've never actually made eggnog before, so.
Yeah. It's Alton Brown's eggnog recipe. You have to make it. It has to cure for at least a month, but the longer it sits, the better it gets. So I put it in August, so it'd be nice and tasty for everybody. And the lady's family is going to be in town again. They were here for Thanksgiving. And I get the joy of going to Benihana on Christmas Eve.
Oh, dude.
So yeah.
Kind of jealous,
Really?
actually.
Well, about that, I love, one of my favorite foods is teppanyaki, hibachi, right?
Yeah, I want to go because
What?
I don't care for Benihana.
Well, I mean, what else you got around there?
Yeah, I mean, everything.
So then go somewhere else.
Whose choice was Benihana's?
The families. My lady's family likes it, so I'm taking one for the team.
Well, there are worse places.
Oh, sure. That's true.
Could be Denny's.
I have eaten at Denny's on Christmas Eve.
Well, I think IHOP has the Grinch pancakes now, so.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Nice.
What makes them so grinchy?
They're green.
They're green.
Which means they turn your poop black.
That means you're
Merry
severely
Christmas.
dehydrated, doesn't it?
No, it's the food dye, the coloring.
Lou, you all right? His poop's already black. That's it.
He's working on his already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh boy.
But that's what I got going on.
Nice.
Sending the kids away, enjoying some quiet time for a couple of days.
That sounds good.
Yep.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Oh. What did you ask Santa for this Christmas?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't ask. I've never told you the sergeant my dad's philosophy on Christmas present.
Sergeant Dad.
Yeah, Sergeant Dad is his philosophy on birthday and Christmas is if you don't get what you want, it's your own fault. So
That's right.
if you're a grown up and you don't get what you want for Christmas, it's your own fault. So I don't ask for Christmas gifts.
You guys do a lot of like gift giving?
Sure. Yes. Lots of gift giving. I just don't ask for other people for gifts. And typically don't get many. I'll get one big gift from the family usually. But that's it. I tend to like experiences more than gifts the older I get. I'd rather us go on a trip or
I hear you, man. Yeah, I don't need any more junk around my house.
Yeah, I got enough crap.
Not that it's junk. I mean, obviously it could be, you can get really nice stuff, but it's like, oh man, sometimes you just lose track and just kind of get clutter.
The exception to that is guitars. Anyone who wants to send me guitars is welcome to send me guitars.
Really?
I love guitars.
Do you like bass guitars?
I have never played a bass guitar.
Merry Christmas.
I didn't pick up a regular guitar until I turned 30, so I'd never played any other instrument.
What about so you ever tried your hand at banjo?
I have not.
I heard it's really fun, but I heard it could be tough, surprisingly. More tough than guitar sometimes, I hear. I don't know. I know nothing about string instruments.
You need more nimble fingers for banjo.
It would sound like you would, but...
Yeah, well, because with banjo, it's less about the, one hand is for guitar has got to be more nimble, right, than the other one with the pick. I mean, you still got to have some level of coordination there, but when you're talking about using all your fingers to pluck, it makes it a little bit tougher. Plus, the tuning is kind of weird, from what I understand. I've never played a banjo. I've only admired them from afar. A ukulele, on the other hand, I've played.
Ugh.
What?
Oh, I hate ukuleles. They
Really?
get on my nerves so bad. Oh God, I hate that sound. I absolutely do. I almost threw one in the river once because we went camping and a cousin's girlfriend who's a super hippie brought hers, and she was sitting there for 2 days straight playing the ukulele, and they had to pull me away from her because I wanted to grab it and throw it in the river.
Was it made out of like an old bleach bottle or something?
No,
That would be a hippie ukulele.
no.
That's
I do have a
hilarious.
cigar
that I would
box guitar.
smash.
You have a cigar box guitar?
I do, in fact.
Can you play it
That's
for
cool.
us?
No, because I don't have an amp to hook it up to right now.
Oh.
Can you
Okay.
airplay it for us right now?
Yeah. Let me hear your finest air guitar solo.
Guys, I'm totally rocking right now. You don't even know.
Yeah, it's three strings. It's great for slide.
Nice. Reminds me of the guy who sold the air guitar that he played at some Bruce Springsteen concert on eBay. That he played it on stage. Sold it on eBay, actually. It was pretty funny. All right. Lou, what do you got going on? What are you and the children, the family doing?
I think Lou just messaged. He just texted. I think
He
he's
says
down.
his network might have just gone down. He left the call also.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
This is
now
what
it's
I'm doing,
lights
Mike. Drop Mike.
So,
Blow out.
guess what? I am not editing this episode, and everyone's just going to know. Because, honestly, me editing episodes takes way too long. So, I want this one to get out there
Wait.
before Christmas.
Let's say this is the Christmas 2019 special.
Well, I mean-
Uncut. Live, except not. All right, John, you go.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think we don't have much going on. Well, I guess we do after Christmas. For Christmas Eve, we're going out to my mom's. I think for like dinner time, and then we'll probably head back before it gets too late because we're gonna bring Tato. So we're just gonna hang out, probably have some drinks. I think we're gonna go to mass probably sometime that night.
So, just a reminder to our listeners, Tato is the nickname for John's son.
Yes. Yeah. Have I not mentioned that already?
No, you have. It's just been so long.
Yeah, Tato. Yeah, Tato. Yeah, a little potato.
Midnight
So we
Mass.
got that going.
Do you enjoy Midnight Mass?
I used to. As a kid, it was kind of like it was a mix between being able to stay up and like keep that excitement going for your gifts the next morning. But it was weird because my mom didn't grow up with getting gifts on Christmas. I guess on the 25th. She grew up with it because in Poland you have Feast of Saint Nicholas Day, which is actually on the 6th of December.
That's right.
So it's it's basically the same thing, but so it was kind of a different time of year for her. But she kind of did the American way, and Midnight Mass was just kind of like, we're so pumped for like gifts, I guess, that we just kind of enjoyed Midnight Mass because like. Got everybody together, and we were able to stay up a little longer to be like, oh my God, you know.
And every kid in that church is looking at each other like, oh boy.
F this, let's go. I know that's how
this is the last time we have to be good all year.
Right. So it was fun. Now we cut it early though. We go to the 5 o'clock midnight mass. So it's midnight mass, but done at 5 p.m. which is kind of weird. But so we're all standing there pretending it's midnight, but it's not. It's whatever. Yeah, it works out for the little guy because we can't obviously keep him up at midnight. So
well, I mean, so it's the same mass, right? It's the same Christmas mass, but they'll still have a midnight mass too. So
yeah, they still do. But from that parish though, apparently. That whatever it's called, it's 5 p.m. is actually more popular these days because everybody just wants to get it over with, I guess, sadly.
Oh yeah.
But,
I mean that's what.
But yeah, they still do. They still pull off the midnight one. The midnight one actually they do like in 3 languages. The church by me, it's kind of impressive.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize. But
the church by me. I think we went for Ash Wednesday. Did this? They had it in 2 different languages. Not surprising.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be diversity.
Yeah. What's the third language?
Mine's the one by me is called St. Hedwig's. It was Polish because there's a big-ish Polish community out there, American and Italian.
Big-ish. Okay. And
but
Italian?
I heard the Italian was bad Italian though. I don't have a good ear for Italian, but I hear it's not great.
So it's Italian, not Latin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow! See, I thought it was going to be English and Latin. I didn't dream they'd do a service in Italian.
No, up here they definitely would.
Yeah, so it's like the Polish community I think is dwindling out where I grew up, but there's still a little bit of a pocket there of Poles.
I would love to go to that mass. You said you heard the Italian was bad.
I heard that because I think the priest is Polish. And I think his Italian is bad. Like I don't think he speaks it very well. It's actually it's not bad. I mean, he has a decent accent, but it's actually not as thick as I thought it was going to be.
No, well, you know what?
But I will say
if people are complaining about
dry
this guy,
though. Maybe it was just his dry delivery of like the gospel and like the all that stuff. It's just it could get real boring. The guy's like monotone and he speaks.
I'm not gonna lie. I think after like the first time I heard the gospel, I was kind of bored of it. So any delivery to me, I'm like, oh god.
Well, I don't know what they do. I forget what it's called afterwards, but they give their little sermon, I guess, like after the gospel. They like in Roman Catholic religion, they say the gospel, and then they have the priest gives a little speech about or a relevant story or example to the gospel or whatever. The sermon. There you go.
Yeah.
That is just it's tough.
How do you think Tato's going to do?
He's done okay. The last year he was kind of napping on and off, and it's dead quiet in the church, so that helps. This year might be hard. We might actually have to probably leave early. It's just hard to get him to sit still these days, but we'll see. If he as long as he's not screaming, we'll probably stay for the whole thing.
Maybe Caitlin and me and Bryn will join you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to.
But I would love to hear this bad Italian.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess your ear for Italian is pretty good, so maybe you confirm whether he's bad or not.
It is pretty good.
But it could also just be like 4 Italian people that go to that and be like, this guy sucks.
Well, exactly. Here's the problem, though. This is why I was saying, give the guy some credit. He's speaking English, he's speaking Polish, and he's speaking Italian.
No, absolutely.
How many languages 100%. Do you speak? Right?
Yeah.
And not for nothing, most people in New York, their Italian isn't exactly the best either, right? Ask them to say any... mozzarella, gabagoo. It's like, what? No. No. All I
Yeah.
want
Well,
for
hey man,
Christmas is
you're
people
more
to
than
say
welcome
that
to
right.
come there. Check it out yourself for sure. So we got that going Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, we're back in Astoria, Queens, just hanging out. Might run into some friends from Boston who might be coming down for other reasons that day, but we might kind of meet up with them for a bit.
A Boston Christmas.
Boston Christmas. And then after that, on the 28th to the 2nd, we're going to be in Florida visiting my in-laws down on Marco Island.
Sweet.
Yeah, looking forward to some sun.
Really?
I already had enough of this cold weather.
I'm gonna punch you. Don't live here if you're gonna have a problem with it. Come on, dude.
I don't have a problem. I just think it's a welcome break.
It hasn't even been that cold. It just started getting cold like this week.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, I don't know. I like the cold. I also like the sun. I like beach life. So
Yeah, you know what though?
It's
I
a
have no
welcome
right to
break
attack
for
you.
me.
I have no right to attack you because I only like the cold. So I just get
Well,
really
just 'cause you
passionate
can't
about
see-
it.
Because this is your fucking vampire.
I know.
mean,
This is my
Jesus.
weather.
I mean, you know me. I like the cold too.
I
But
know.
you
I know. I'm just breaking balls.
5 straight months of cold is just a little.
I'm
just drive me
trying to
crazy.
throw in some Lou because we're missing Lou. So I need to say inappropriate things or make terrible jokes.
What? Did we figure out what he's wearing? Why? I'm gonna
know.
keep it a surprise. It's like that sounds so creepy, Lou.
Yeah. He's Donald Duck in it with a Christmas sweater. That's what he said.
Oh,
So strange.
Okay.
So strange. I think he lost power.
That's what he said.
it sounds like it. Yeah, it says like all the lights are down too.
I wonder if we can call his phone to try to conference him in.
Well, he may need his phone if it's cold and he has no power.
For what?
Or maybe he just didn't like the content of today's podcast, like banjos. Pfft, get out of here. He just dropped. He's like, "F this."
Yeah. Well, right before we started too, we got the text message. Come on, let's get this started. It's like,
There you
okay.
go. Maybe he's a little agitated.
He might be. I know he was dealing with some code issues earlier. So
Between that and his weird Donald Ducking Christmas micro bikini wearing night, might be a little difficult for him.
all right. Okay. All right. So let's move on. I guess we start talking about the topic. I don't know what else to do at this point.
Well,
Unless
do you want
there's-
to try to help Lou out? I mean, what can we do? How can we help a brother out?
What
Well-
are your plans for Christmas?
Christmas Eve, I don't know. And that's it.
Cool.
Sounds exciting.
Christmas Day, we're going to my sister-in-law's. We're going to spend Christmas over there with my nieces. I'm sorry, my niece and my nephews, my in-laws, and Bryn. We are not hosting anything this year, which is nice, but also there's a reason for us not being able to host.
Sorry, is that Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
That's Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, we are doing nothing. We are going to be
Good.
here.
I was gonna say you should do one or the other. Just have nothing and just be yourselves.
Well,
you know?
that's why we were thinking just hang out on Christmas Eve, relax, and maybe it is a good idea if we do want to go to Christmas Mass. We might as well go to the one you guys are at.
Yeah, man, you're more than welcome. Be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we can convince Lou and bring his family too. We'll do a Talkin Dads.
Christmas
Trip
Mass.
to Mass.
Talking Dad's confession. We do a
Oh
confessional.
God, that priest would be like, my ears are bleeding now.
Is that what he sounds like?
I don't know. It's hard. He does. Yes, he's like, and if you would like to come to confession, that's actually kind of maybe, I don't know. It's not perfect, but it's very slow and dry like that.
And he's
It's
Polish? That sounds Polish.
It's hard. If you heard it, you would be like, yeah, that's a pretty good attempt.
Oh man.
It's not. I don't know. After this next mass, I'll be able to do it better. It's been a while since I heard him.
That almost sounds like your impression of a former coworker from Italy.
Yes.
That cookies.
The cookies.
Don't use the cookies. Take the cookies out of the jar.
Yes, we put the cookies in the cookie jar.
This is not going to be entertaining to anybody, so I am going to have to edit some of this episode because people are like,
Yeah,
this
maybe.
life
It's
experience.
kind of off on a tangent a little bit.
This is life experience with John and Mike.
So okay,
so that's basically
Christmas Eve, your house, just you guys. Are you? Is there? So let me ask you a question. Do you have any traditions that you're gonna try to instill, or
Not this year.
not this year?
No, but no, probably not. I don't
I
really
mean,
have
it's kind of
anything.
pointless. I mean, Bryn's not gonna obviously remember any of this,
Well, I
and
mean, we
not
put
for
up
the next 2 years, but
We decorated. We put up the tree. You know, we got presents. They're under the tree. They're wrapped. You know, we took her to. We got pictures of her with Santa. So all that stuff's kind of done. It's nice, and we know that Christmas Eve is just kind of be anticlimactic this year because you're right. She's not going to remember this.
Did you guys get a real tree, or is it a
No.
Is it a fake one?
It's a fake one. You never really get a real tree
Yeah. So where did you get the pictures with her and Santa?
at the mall.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny. Go ahead.
Although tip to everybody, there's this thing that they have now. It's the Fast Pass for Santa. Get it. It's worth it. You show up at the time that you say you're going to show up. As long as you're there on time, you're in and out. And then you see that crazy line in December for all those kids waiting for Santa. You don't have to wait in that.
Do all the parents give you like extreme dirty looks though when you just walk in front of them?
Well, I mean, some of them do, but you have to look at them
Hey.
and be like, hey, knucklehead,
You're the
step out
idiot
of
that
line.
didn't- Yeah.
Put the time in. Go on your phone and select an available. There's still times available.
So
Walk
how much
away.
was the fast pass?
It was $3.
Really? That's it?
That was
Oh.
it.
There's no excuse for that then.
No,
I thought it was going to be like $30, but
No.
for $3, there's no.
excuse.
it may have been
Yeah.
$4 with tax. All I remember,
Yeah.
like at first, Caitlin was like, "What? They charge you extra, whatever, to book a time?" And then when she got back from doing the pictures, she was like, "That was totally worth $4. I would have paid
But
$20."
isn't that interesting how over the last 10 years we've become conditioned to the idea that we can pay more to get in somewhere faster? Like that didn't exist,
know.
10, 15 years ago.
But I
That-
like it.
That tiered service is something that's relatively new as a concept. The idea that you have more money so you're more important it's really interesting to me. Now, that being said, when we go to Disney and stuff, I buy those passes in a heartbeat. I'm not a hypocrite, but
No, but I mean the way you phrased it there, right?
Yeah.
You have more money, you're more important, right? It's
yeah,
I don't necessarily know if phrasing it like that makes it look as actually good as it is. It's like if you're willing to pay just a little bit more than everybody else at that point, and still cut less from somewhere else, that if you could even balance it out like that, it doesn't make me feel so bad when I pay for Fast Pass.
It's like the backbone of a capitalistic economy.
well, I mean, that's what it is. That's the ultimate extension of
Well,
the
you're
capitalist mindset.
Exactly.
Is-
You're right though. Like look at Grubhub, Uber Eats.
yeah.
It's like you see the delivery
Right.
fees on those, and it's like,
Sure.
I want Taco Bell now, and I don't want to have to drive and get it, and I want it fast. So,
Well, there's a reason I put it that way, because like it kind of bleeds into the main topic. That's one of the central issues I have with the idea of Santa Claus. That's one of my problems with Santa.
is Fast Pass?
Well, sort
I'm
of.
just kidding.
Santa, the
So
central
commercial.
idea, the central idea of, in bear in mind that we're strictly talking about the American idea of Santa. So I will qualify that. The idea, and that if you're good, you get stuff, right? That he has the naughty and nice list. He's always watching. The guy in the sky is always watching you. And
It's the North Pole,
Just-
Earl.
just
all right,
this-
let's get
just
it.
this.
Let's just.
Well,
and
just to touch on that, when I was a kid, there was one point I was like, so there's two people that I now
Right.
have to worry about.
yeah.
God and this guy.
Right. But the point is that the idea that if you're good, you get stuff from nowhere, essentially, that's magically made and brought to you and delivered in your sleep. And then how does that translate to kids who don't get as much as you do? Are they like, how do you interpret that as a kid? How do you explain that? You know, and I come at this from the perspective, and bear in mind, disclaimer, I did Santa with all of the kids, every single one. And my perspective on it's only changed in the last 2 or 3 years, thinking back about the way I felt as a kid, because I was dirt poor as a kid and went to school with all of these other kids who got all of these other incredible things and didn't understand why Santa didn't bring the things that I asked for. And it's that's part of the problem that I have with the concept of Santa Claus as we have it, is that it creates this idea that some people are more worthy of things than others because of their behavior.
I'm with you.
We should totally bust out design a Santa socioeconomic scale that you could just point to and be like, "This is us, sweetheart. This is us." So you can expect gifts in this range.
I'm
making a joke, but you have an excellent point. I mean, and
then when you think that we as Americans, we translate that idea globally, because we, like, when they show the Santa tracker on your app now, or they used to do it on TV, right? They show him all over the world. Santa delivers toys to kids all over the world. But if you stay tuned to that same channel, 3 hours later, 3 hours later, we're going to show you the kids in Africa that we need money to feed. Mm-hmm. But Santa's bringing Xboxes to everybody.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well, I agree. So that's where I think globally, or at least in the United States, there needs to be a change in thought with some of this. And this is not me getting on a soapbox, but
sure.
I mean, then again, I don't know. It's you at the end of the day what's going to end up happening when Bryn starts understanding what's going on, or if she wants, when we start getting the presents. But it's not fair, right? There's no parent saying okay, Santa brings you one toy a year. And then he lets the parents know how good or bad you were, and if they can get the gifts, they get the gifts, right?
Right.
If there was some sort of a common ground with that, like kids going to school talking to their friends who got a crap load from Santa, they wouldn't have any other questions, right? Well, a crap load for Christmas, they wouldn't have any other questions. Be like, oh, what toy did Santa get you this year? Okay, cool. Okay, I got the one from Santa too, and he also left me a chocolate or something. Something as simple as that.
But that's the weird thing about it, because I get you want your kids to experience the magic, the fantasy. Mm. Like there's something to that joy. But there's a serious but to that we as Americans have developed this idea that being poor is bad, that we criminalize it, that we demonize it. And I think this reinforces that at a very early age. I think the idea that you're getting gifts because you're on the nice list, and Tommy didn't get as much as you, means he must have been bad.
See, I don't know. That's a little tough, right? Because I don't know. I didn't experience it. I know that you said you did,
sure.
Earl, but I just don't understand how parents wouldn't have it tough or wouldn't be able to explain to their kids some way. Be like, look, the other presents under that person's tree, not all of them from Santa, right? But they're from their parents. That's why they got so much. Santa get whatever. And see, I don't know. I have a tough time thinking that, because making that kid feel like he was a bad kid just because the parents couldn't afford gifts. I don't know.
But it's not just it's not just how you're making so for example, we'll just take the example you just gave. Say the poor kid's parents do explain the truth to him, right? Mm-hmm. And we just couldn't afford to get you as much. We love you. This is what we could get you, and we're happy. We're happy together. That kid understands. However, the kid who got the new Xbox or the hoverboard or whatever this year's toy is. I'm so out of touch. I don't even know what it is. PS Pro or Switch or whatever you're getting them. Mm-hmm. That kid is the one that's going to equate good versus stuff and not stuff versus bad. So the kid who got all of the things, who you're continuing to tell the Santa to because you can get him all of those things, that kid, when his friend or the kid that he bullies or whoever, I shouldn't say that. I don't mean to put that connotation on it. The other kid who goes to school with him or her, who clearly doesn't get those things, they must have been bad. Even if you're not explicitly saying that, you're creating an inherent bias.
And you see it.
And you're reinforcing it.
You see it, and then the weird thing is the action of those kids. 'Cause I'm growing up and seeing this in school. You would see the kids who got the most typically bully the kids who got the least, and they're thinking that they're good and those other kids are bad. Yet they're acting bad by treating those kids bad. So
right, nobody's going to come to school and go, "Well, you were on the naughty list." That's not it. But you're creating this disparity between those people in that kid's head. That kid automatically has an association with stuff is good, not stuff is bad. So you must be bad.
Man,
I have I believe me, I understand how fucked the argument I'm making is. I'm a hypocrite because like I went all in with the Santa. We did the wrapped presents are from parents, the unwrapped gifts are the Santa stuff that got dropped off.
See, even that was different for me.
We did the milk and cookies. We did the whole deal. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm kind of past it, and I can see, like, I feel like I have 20/20 about it. And let
me ask you this then, Earl.
If you go back, what would you do differently?
I'd have never started it in the first place.
Okay. Well,
the gifts
that's a good question.
Gifts are from us. We love you unconditionally. We are giving you these things because we love you, and we feel that we want you to have them. And by the way, we're also going to go do this for people who can't do.
Okay. So
because you need to understand that we have things and that we need to share those things with people who don't have. So and that was of all the things I wish I could do differently. That's one of them. And we've started to do that. Like this year we're going to volunteer, and not just at Christmas time. We've set up volunteer times for March, for June, all throughout the year, because everybody volunteers at Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's the rest of the year that really they need help
too. Yeah.
But I wish that I could go back and teach that lesson. That was a teachable moment that I missed.
Now, would you go back and teach that with an idea of Santa Claus just toned back? Well, I guess before you answer that, let me ask this: what were the positives of doing it the way you did it with the whole the bells and whistles?
Was the pure selfish joy of it. Being able to get up and see my kids' faces light up. That the unadulterated selfish joy in that.
And what
was the only thing that came out?
So, what positives did you see from your kids?
None. They were happy in that moment.
And they were well behaved in December.
I mean, no. They weren't any differently behaved. Let's be realistic. Okay. Nobody gets any better behaved at Christmas.
But you make a good point, though. It's like I don't know. I see your point too, and I think there's a lot of power behind seeing your kid's reaction on Christmas too. I'm not defending. I'm not arguing against your point, Earl, because I think you're absolutely correct. But but you got to see it though, right?
Well, I did.
So it's easy to say that. I would do it differently next time.
But the thing that I can't say, that I can't for sure say, is would the joy had been different or the same if the gifts had just been from me, and they'd been wrapped and they'd been surprises, and they knew that they were given from a father unconditionally, that just because I love you. Like this isn't about you not lying or you not doing this. This is here because I can give it to you and because I love you.
Well, do you get that when they realize that there isn't a Santa Claus in hindsight?
Sure.
Where they're like, holy moly, what you
100%.
give me? Because I
as
know
they've
I had
gotten
that
older,
feeling. I've been fortunate
as they've
enough.
gotten older, the transition there has happened much better. And we've had the conversations about, we give you these things because we love you, not because you're entitled to them. And there have been years where we've had to put entitlement in check. Hey, you're not going to get something for $500 because you expect it. That's not happening. We're going to knock that sense of entitlement out and give you something specific to you that we think you'll love. And like I said, this year we've shifted to experiences. Like that part of what we're doing for Christmas is taking the kids into the city. We're coming up there to New York to see the ball drop for New Year's because none of them have ever seen anything like that.
Man,
so
that's going to be an amazing and frustrating trip for you.
Well,
I'm sure.
we bought tickets to Dave & Buster's in advance. So we've got wristbands and we've got access to food and drink and a place to go.
Sweet.
So we're not going into it completely.
It.
Yeah, no. And we're not taking a car into the city either. We're taking the train up and the train down. Okay. We bought the hotel. Yeah, we got the hotel well in advance. It's already paid for.
Nice.
Thankfully we're first timers for the ball, but we're not first timers for traveling to kids to crowded places. So.
Gotcha.
Nice.
It's still, I mean, I wish you all the best. Honestly, it sounds like you guys got that down pat, but
it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be Are you kidding? It's going to be a fucking nightmare. But it'll be something they remember forever.
Exactly.
It is.
That's the point. And that's the point.
And specifically, my daughter, that's where she wants to be, and I want her to see New York in that moment. So she gets a glimpse of the life she wants. So,
that's the way to do it.
Yep.
That's awesome. Damn. So this is a really heavy topic, right?
Sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. We wanted to talk about this because but you make. I mean, you make 100% valid points.
And they're in full disclosure too. I know that you are both from religious families. I am not. And I have further issues with it that stretch into other territories that I try not to be disrespectful to people's religions. But I like, so that there's a whole other layer to this that I'm just not going to talk about.
Well,
but
I actually was about to bring church into it.
Yeah, just please bring it in because now now that I know where you live, Earl.
Yeah.
And you disrespect me.
Well, we're gonna go on a crusade against Earl.
I kind of touched on it. I kind of touched on it. With someone's watching you. I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with conditional moral behavior and the teaching of conditional moral behavior. The idea that from a very early age, you're taught to be good because somebody's watching and will punish you. Not because, it feels good to be good. And I have I have an ethical and moral issue with that line of thought. That I'm very much in the morality for morality's sake.
Right.
Well, there's a positive spin to it.
So that's religion across the board, though, right? I mean, that's why religion was created. That's why laws were created, right? Because the idea of someone's watching you brings things like murder and not cooperation with each other. It's obviously easily corruptible, but it brings that stuff down. That's why. Sure. You tell the bad kids someone's watching you, it's going to bother them way more than the good kids.
But the idea,
it's still creepy. I understand.
To bring it down to a non-ethereal level, if you're talking about laws, then that's other people watching you. That's we're all in this together, and if you do this, we will see, and there will be consequences. That's not. Well, there's something out there that you can't see who's gonna punish you unless you do what's right.
Yeah, well, those stories were always created, right? And actually, I didn't want to go into it this early, but that's actually a good segue to John. So John grew up
Oh yeah.
with something that
what are
I
we
didn't
talking
grow
about?
up with that I would have loved to have grown up with,
Oh my
or
God.
maybe not.
Let me tell you, I am not down with Santa. I am all in with Krampus, though.
Let's talk about
Just
Krampus.
because it's
say-
a great story.
No,
Oh my
I
God,
mean-
it's so much a better story than Santa.
For our listeners,
Well,
can you
it's-
give the background of Krampus first, John?
Well, or so I don't know what if. So that's a toughie because
What were you
it depends
told?
on it, and that's also a funny story too because I didn't necessarily like my mom wasn't a big pusher of Krampus, but I did find out about it early on. But it depends on where you live, I guess. In Europe, it's a very European thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Black Pete. Have you guys heard of that?
That's Australian,
Oh,
right?
Black Pete, no, Black Pete's all
It's-
over
it's-
Scandinavia too, and that's Vice had a really good episode
Yeah,
on Black
yeah.
Pete.
It's so it basically black. So anyway, the
So first,
concept
who
I
is
think is
Krampus,
rooted.
right?
Yeah, so the concept is rooted in, there's good and bad. So our good and naughty list doesn't really come from nothing. It actually stems from this concept, where back when either Saint Nick or Sinterklaas or whatever was going around giving kids treats or
Sinterklaas.
goodwill or wishes, there was a companion to Santa that punished punished kids that did bad things.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get coal or anything, but like you got punished or you got hit or you got kidnapped or you got
Mm-hmm.
beat up.
Which is
and,
funny because you look at the end result. So our Santa Claus,
Right.
In the United States, is a hodgepodge of all the stuff around the world. Like you said,
Right.
Saint Nicholas, like Père
Mm-hmm.
Noel, and we don't have
Popo
the bad
Chico.
guy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Popo Chico. Is that Tom? What's his name? Tim Allen.
It's a Santa Claus.
Yeah. Yep. Popo no pale. Popo So, like, we get the hodgepodge of it, but in capitalist America, right? We
Yeah.
got
I
rid
mean,
of the
they-
bad
we-
guy. We got rid of the bad guy and replaced it with you get coal instead because it's still good for
Yeah.
the economy.
I mean, and that all stems from actually a lot of a lot of America's Christmas tradition stems from New York City in the 1800s when they create all that stuff. But
Sure.
but it's all stemmed from stuff like this. So there's we mentioned before, so Santa had a companion, I guess is the story. And the companion to Santa was the anti-good, the the person that would punish you for being a cruel
Companion,
or
like
evil
a friend.
person. Well, no, a companion as he traveled around with Santa.
Okay.
At least, so in some cultures it was, Krampus, which was like a demonic devil looking thing with a cloven hoof and all that stuff. And then, or there's Black Pete, which is, I don't know the full story, but it was, what they do today. It's kind of politically incorrect now, but, it's a person. So to celebrate Black Pete, they go around in blackface.
Yeah, they
and
straight up.
Renaissance clothing.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's pretty terrible. And it came. I think it's rooted in the same principle where it's something that was different, something that was dark, and something that. And I think Black Pete was originally a servant to Santa or whoever the Santa equivalent was. Yeah, it's not. I'm not even going into it because I don't even know the full history behind it. But
Well,
I know
Earl,
the concepts.
can you elaborate on that or no?
Do you know more than I? Or
I know a little bit in that the blackness of his skin was supposed to be
more
from the
Spain. I think
the
is what-
chimneys.
Was it supposed to be
Is what
from
it was
all the
supposed to be.
Christmases he got coal?
It's the soot. It's supposed to be the chimney soot.
Gotcha.
And it's
oh,
apparently
wait, so
he was
wasn't of African or descent.
I don't know. Let's see.
I heard that he was a Moor. He was supposed to be a Moor.
That's
from Spain.
correct. It's
Yeah.
typically associated with the Moors, is what it's saying
Okay.
in Spain. And that Saint Nicholas actually rescued him from slavery, like purchased him. Wow.
So yeah, it's something
it
like
really
that.
is
And-
racist.
Are you
Yeah,
looking this up
and
right now?
it's and then he basically
Yeah, I
was like
was-
indentured servitude to Santa or something like that, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
That is
Apparently,
terrible.
Amsterdam, they still love him. Like,
Yeah. I'm sure that will change eventually because it's making some
it's
big
already-
waves,
yeah.
especially lately. It's not
I mean,
juicy at all.
baby, it's cold outside. That is making big waves now, so I can't imagine if this is going to go on
Right?
for much
Yeah.
longer.
I think
So blackface is wrong. Is it?
Yeah.
I think we could definitely say at this point, blackface is not okay.
No. Nope.
Like that time is done, and it's a good thing.
That
Is
is
it?
good.
Well, so let me ask this, because the story that I was told about Krampus, and bear in mind, again, I grew up in South Georgia, was that Krampus wasn't a punishment like beatings and stuff. That Krampus straight up dragged you to hell. Like,
Yeah. So Krampus was a really harsh version, from my understanding of it as well. It's like, they would like gather all the children and have like a chain gang, and it would just march you into either hell, but it was more like you got kidnapped or taken away,
yeah,
from
like,
my understanding.
like
and
to
it's
a
just
pit. Yeah.
yeah. So Krampus is the evilest, I guess, of the ones that I know. I guess for being my mom is from, I guess, southern eastern Poland, so she was a little bit closer to Krampus. But Poland's not necessarily huge Krampus people. I think Poland's tradition is usually you get your gifts on Saint Nicholas Day, but with your present you also get a Switch as like a subtle reminder, being like, you should be a good person.
Not a Nintendo Switch.
You get the
not a
carrot
Nintendo
and the
Switch.
stick.
You get the true meaning of a Switch. Yeah. But it's pretty. I mean, they're all very close together. Krampus was a evil demonic being, companion of Santa, that went along and it took little children away, who were bad.
Yeah. See, I
I
always
will
wanted to
say-
see that movie. Like,
Yeah,
because they did
yeah.
Krampus
They have that
just
movie.
by himself. Well, no,
Uh-oh.
but I want to see Santa and Krampus together, like a buddy cop movie.
Right. You're bad cop. I'm always bad cop, Santa. I'm always bad cop.
So
Yeah.
You be bad cop one day.
you know
Yeah,
what's
we're-
actually kind of funny? Have you guys ever watched
Krampus is-
American Dad? That show?
Yeah.
So their
Uh-huh.
Christmas specials are usually like epic. I don't watch all the episodes, but I've seen most of the Christmas ones, and they start going into Krampus, and it actually gets into that territory. It's pretty fun.
Oh wow! No, I never saw those episodes. I've seen
Yeah.
American Dad, but I never saw those episodes.
The Christmas ones are always the best.
My favorite Christmas episode of any cartoon ever is Invader Zim. The Invader Zim Santa Claus episode, with the Mighty Boots of Doom,
Oh man,
is one of my favorite episodes of any cartoon ever.
we're gonna have to come back to that for the end of the episode for that last topic. We're gonna have to talk about favorite Christmas specials, favorite Christmas episode. But now I want to talk about it now. So Krampus is such a good idea, though. But I don't know. Did you see that Krampus movie?
I did not. My kids
did not
did.
yet
I had
either.
never gone around to seeing it.
But I will say this though, I never knew this happened, but there's also cities within like Central Europe that I think it's called Krampusdag or something like that. Have you guys seen this?
No, what is it? Tell me more.
So, oh man, so it's like I know they do this in like northern Italy and Austria, where it's like a parade of people that do their best to dress up in their version of Krampus, and then they run out into the streets and like basically like scare people, and like whoever gets the most screams like wins a prize from their costume or whatever. And like apparently they do in a bunch of cities, but like it just looks cool. Like I'm not advocating for
How do you
Krampus
spell
or
it?
anything, but it's just Krampus. I think it's like basically like Krampus and then STAG or something like that.
I'm gonna look it up.
Krampusdag.
Krampus.
But it's wild, man, and it looks like it's a party. So as an adult, I would love to go check it out one day.
So December 5th is Krampusnacht?
Krampusnacht. Oh, maybe that's it. Krampusnacht. Maybe that's Stag.
How do you spell Krampusnacht?
Apparently it is celebrated here in Washington, D.C.
Oh my God!
There
Well, I'm
is
looking
a
at the pictures now.
KrampusnachtDC.com.
Holy crap!
Maybe we could all go one year. Maybe next year. Remote Talking Dads.
What if we
Krampus.
four show up as Santa with we form a line, be like, don't break the line.
Well, yeah, we're the Santas.
Yeah, we stand there like full arms crossed, united front. Nah. Anyway, This
It would
looks
be
crazy.
fun though. I mean,
It
Yeah.
normally happens on December 1st. That's been pushed back to the 21st this year.
Dude,
I need to find out more about this.
You gotta go.
Yeah. check it out. And like, I've only heard of, I didn't even know they did it here. I should look more into it. I've only heard of the ones in Europe, and they were like insane. I have a few friends of friends who like are from like Italy, and they sent photos of them, like videos of them going to that event this year, and it just looks like a lot of fun.
Oh man.
The gallery owned 21 plus event, donation of $15. They all go to the National Center for Children and Families. Huh.
That already
sell
happened up here
shirts.
in Asbury Park.
They sell shirts. I'm totally buying a shirt though.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
This looks so evil.
Well, if you guys want, we can always take a road trip up to, this is not Christmas oriented, but speaking of weird European and Polish holidays,
Yeah.
sort of Smigus Dingus. Okay, excellent. So we could go. So it's a big
Say it
thing
one
in
more time. What is it?
Schmigus Dingus.
Schmigus dingus.
That sounds like a nickname you give some poor kid named Schmingus. Like,
Nerd.
So it's a holiday. I think it's the Monday after Easter, and basically, long story short, you get to throw water on women and beat them with pussy willows, or
Oh my gosh.
they. Or it's about, you get to throw water on them and they beat you off with pussy willows.
Wait. Beat you up? Or beat you? What'd you say? This is
beat
not
you
right.
beat you off of them. I
Okay.
guess is a PC way to say. Anyway, so
No,
it's
there's
we'll
no
talk about that
PC
later.
here.
We can talk about it later. But yes, let's do Krampus knocked.
Oh man, list of holidays to strike from the list.
oh, let me tell you,
Well, Google it. It's
there
a
is
thing.
zero chance I am having my picture taken at Schmingus Dingus. Oh my god.
You don't want a picture taken with your pussy willow? It's just hanging
After
out?
all the water had been thrown, the screaming girls would be dragged to a nearby river or pond for another drenching before they were repeatedly spanked. Oh my god.
What?
It's terrible, right?
That's even
Right?
worse. Oh
It
my
was
God.
alternative as an adoption to palm leaves, which were not obtainable in Poland.
But
Holy
why
Wow.
do they do this?
What kind of country do you come from, John? Oh my god.
This is still a huge thing, by the way.
What? Wait.
They
Why do they
fucking
do it?
love- I don't actually.
I'm trying to find
I
out.
don't know.
Not
back-
that
it's-
the reason is going to
I
be
would imagine
right.
that
but-
it probably dates back to some pagan ritual.
It's pre-Christian.
Yeah, some
Comes
pagan.
from German, meaning eggs are owed, and dingus, meaning ransom.
or poop.
Wow.
Dollar Wrath, Winter.
And you said it's like after Easter. Does it have something to do with
It's the
that?
Monday after Easter. We thought it had something to do with like fertility.
I mean, that's what it kind of
It's-
looks
No,
like.
nothing says let's celebrate fertility like Jesus
Rape
died
and
and
pillage?
resurrected.
Yeah, the chant
What
the
the
chant that the boys chant translates to dingus dingus for 2 eggs, I don't want bread, only eggs. Wow. Girls can save themselves by giving the boys ransoms of painted eggs, regarded as magical charms that could bring good harvests and healthy childbirths.
See, there you go.
And then the girls are supposed to wait till the next day and get the revenge by soaking the boys while they're asleep.
What's that one called?
Nothing, just revenge day from your awful holiday. I don't know what it's called.
So it's Dingus Wingus Day 2? Or what's it?
I
What is it?
Dingus, dingus, and
Dingus
again?
Part 2, the revenge. I don't know.
the Revenge of the Smingus.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let's save that. Like, let's think on Christmas. All right,
Yeah,
I
you know
didn't
what I
mean to
want for
digress
Christmas?
as much
Not
into
that.
Easter already.
I love that all the Polish holidays involve kids being dragged to hell or beatings or drenching.
Yeah, I mean the whole area is messed up. Come on.
Y'all are a hard people, dude. Wow.
I know, yeah.
Y'all
Nobody
are
soft comes out of Poland. Wow.
Yeah, so there's like a lullaby that I heard growing up, and this is probably another story for another time, but I finally remembered what it was. I asked my mom, and I like Google translated it, and basically it's like a lullaby of like two cats who are like watching you, but they're like ashamed of you, and like if you don't go to sleep, you're gonna get like more shame, and like it's a messed up lullaby. It's like they're trying to shame you to go to bed.
That's terrible. Well, so is Rockin' My Baby's not exactly a good lull, you know.
I mean,
Treetop, why's the baby up there, and why's the bow breaking, and why's the baby falling cradle and all?
I'd rather take the physical pain other than like, hey, shame. You know, it's like
shame. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Shut your
Moon
mouth.
hates you. It's afraid that you're not going to sleep because it will bring you to hell.
Oh my goodness.
So, Kotki Dwa.
Kotki Dva.
Kotki
So
Dva.
it's-
Sing it to us, John.
D's a V. Kotki Dva. I see the lyrics here. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's fucked up, right?
and
I should
and
go.
when the
I'm
morning
gonna open my
comes,
browser too. I'm
you
gonna
will
start.
really be ashamed. Then he fell asleep and you did not. It is. It's about the shame of two kittens because you're an
Polish
awful
people-
child who won't go to
Polish
sleep.
people all about shaming people to do stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why my sister and I have this thing that we call like every time my mom gives us like the shame, we call it Polish guilt because like
And you're Catholic on top of it. Oh my god.
Oh,
welcome
dude.
to my life.
Wow. So you don't suffer from depression, right?
No, it's just how I am apparently. Just shamed into being.
Oh, that's
shamed
amazing.
into being.
Here's life, but you don't deserve it.
So tell me your childhood experience with Krampus, though. I want to know what was told to you and like what you had to do, and were you scared? Like if I was a little kid and someone told me there was a demon guy, I would be terrified.
Yeah, I mean, like again, my mom didn't really preach Krampus or anything. She kind of just followed more the American route. But here's the messed up part: is that growing up, we did the normal Christmas thing, Christmas night, Christmas Eve, presents, whatever. My mom adopted that, and she kind of just kept it. And my mom's not really good. You know, she's an awesome mom, but she's not really good at, I guess, communication sometimes. The nice way to put it. So later on in childhood, I had a bunch of other Polish friends who I got to know, and they were like, hey, our family has Krampus. You guys have that? And then that's how I found out about it, not through my mom. And then, so like they would scare the hell out of me, my friends. Some of them were older, so they would scare the hell out of me with Krampus. And I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? So I'd go home, and then I'd be like, Mom, my Polish friends, I didn't say Polish friends at the time, like my friends are saying that there's a Krampus and they can come eat, like take me away if I'm not good. I'm like, is that a thing? Is that a thing what Polish people do? And she's like, oh yeah, sometimes they do that. And like that's all she said.
Your mom was like, no, baby, everything's going to be all right. She was like, yeah, it just happens.
Yeah. She's
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
oh, that's
So-
the thing. Polish people say that sometimes.
That is the
that
worst
was all
thing.
that I got.
Leaving a kid
Yeah.
to worry about this demonic entity
Yep.
in their own
I love your
head.
mom so much. That's amazing.
And that's all I
Wow.
got. So like it wasn't like I mean, I think that's kind of traumatizing in and of itself, but like no, I didn't grow up with like a long-term Krampus fear, but that was probably like 8-ish. So that was kind of hard to deal with. Not or not 8, maybe earlier than that. But yeah, it was like I remember it clearly.
Your mom, that's literally your mom told you the boogeyman was real.
Yeah. Well, some people believe in that, but a lot of people, Polish people, do that, and that's kind of all I got.
Basically, it's like do the research on your own kid on how to survive. Like,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, it's like she just assumed that I thought like since we don't do it, it's like oh we're cool though, right? It's like she doesn't get.
You didn't ask any more questions, though. You didn't.
I was kind of just like what?
Just to show you how horrible I am, like in my head, the way this story comes to full completion is if she waits till you're asleep one night and then just grabs your ankle.
And that is
man,
how
I'm glad she
you
didn't
win.
think of that because she probably would.
Oh my god, Earl! If you had a time machine, you would probably. I would want you to go back in time and whisper into everybody's ears what you want. Like this little
just
suggestion.
Krampus, just you don't have to don't pull him hard, just a little bit.
Just be like, listen. It'll be 3 years after John had that conversation with his mother. Here comes Earl.
Do you know what John's gonna do when he's 17? You do this now.
He won't do it. Oh man, fantastic!
Honestly, Polish people do have the weirdest things and traditions. Like for example, so my mom makes us every year, and to this day, every year this is a tradition on Christmas Eve. And there's a lot of traditions there. There's like they don't eat meats. You can't eat until like a certain time. There's I think on Christmas Eve you can't eat until you see the first star in the night sky or something like that.
Well, that's limited to Polish culture, right? I don't
know if that's limited to Polish, but I know it is Polish.
Well, I mean, a lot of cultures fast, during the daylight.
Of course.
So,
but the one thing is, and that wasn't it. The one thing is, like every Christmas Eve, you have to put coins in a sink or in a bowl of water and wash your hands with the coins because it's going to give you good luck with money.
Christmas Eve, right? Yep.
Christmas Eve.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm like, I get it. It's not weird or anything until I met my cousins for like the first time in my life. They came from Poland for a visit, and I was like, and we're doing this, and we're all standing in line. And as I'm going to turn to my cousins and be like, do you guys know where this fucking comes from? They were saying that to me. They're like, what the fuck are we doing? And I'm like, did my mom just make this up? Like, nobody knew what the fuck we were doing. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
And so it's like, to this day, I still never heard, or I never heard another Polish family that does this. And my mom can explain. She's like, "Oh, it's definitely a tradition." Even my uncles, her brothers, are like, "I don't know what this is," and I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know."
It's totally a spell.
Oh, wow.
It's totally a spell.
Well, that's
I know,
what
your mom's like a level 7 wizard.
Like a Polish warlock or something.
Oh, she is.
Well, we're going to talk about something Italian culture, right? So, I don't know if this is for all Italians.
It's got to be some weird shit there too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, first of all, there's the Malakir, right? That's the evil eye. And in order to take away the evil eye, you have to learn this incantation on New Year's Eve from a person who's learned it before, right? But I
saw this movie. That's where he eats the pie, and he gets thinner, right?
No.
I'm kidding.
Evil eye, not the evil pie. So, yeah, you're right. Basically, I know what you're saying. There's a gypsy on the street. Dude does that. It's like thinner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what that sounds like. That sounds like
the
old
Malakas
Romanian
basically
stuff.
like do like the rock horns, right? But pointed at somebody, and you just say some weird spell. It's like, give it, and then they have a headache. That's the best you get. Or some maybe bad luck or something. But that's one thing. The other thing that my grandmother used to tell everybody is you have to put brooms by the door to keep the witches away.
What?
So brooms by the door to keep the witches away because
wouldn't that attract them as being like,
no? Well, that's the thing.
ooh, new car.
They see the witch and they just fly. They see the broom and they just fly off.
No. Well, no, because the only way a witch can come through a door if you have a broom in front of it is if they count every single bristle. So they used to put all their brooms at the front door.
Oh, so you can see him coming because it'd just be stuck there.
Oh, that's totally going in my writing notebook.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I've never heard of that in my life.
Yep. And then there's
it's similar because
the
like
one
in Europe,
where witches
there's like
were braid.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
So then
No.
So my grandmother's from the country-ish of Italy. So there's one where like the horse's hair is braided. Like witches will come and like braid the horse's hair. But to stop them. Oh God, what was it? You have to do something to stop them. Like you stick a knife in the floor or whatever in your house, and then you run outside and you catch the witch braiding the hair, and you beat the shit out of them. And then the next day in the village,
Sounds fun as fuck.
yeah. And the next day, well, because if you stick a knife in the floor, the witch freezes and they can't move. I think that's right. I can't remember if that's exactly what it was. So you go down there, beat the shit out of the witch, and then kick them out. And the next day in the village, in order to figure out the true identity of the witch, you just look around and find out who's all black and blue. That's the witch.
But I have
like
questions.
rape. Tonight's the night for rape, guys.
Yeah, I have questions. Questions.
I don't
like,
know if I have
for
answers.
example, does the spell have a range? Like, if you stick the knife in the floor, like, how do you know how close they have
I don't
to
know
be
if
for
it's a
that to
knife in
work?
Is there a certain amount of power points that you get from
Right.
your knife?
I don't
Right.
remember what it is. Oh, hold on.
What if the witch is from a different country? Like, what if it's a witch from China? Does the knife
dude,
affect?
I don't
Screw.
respect these rules.
Yeah.
I'm texting my uncle right now because he told me this story. Like, I'm trying to figure out what it is. It might not be a knife in the floor. It's something stupid like that. But it's like that's how you freeze the witch and you get them to stop. But I'm like, wait, what's the problem
Sounds
with
like an
braiding
awesome
the horse's?
video game.
Yeah, what's the problem with braiding the horse's hair? Like,
I don't know. Like, because you know what? I bet you the story. I bet once upon a time there was like a really, really beautiful woman in some remote village that liked braiding horse's hair, and she slept with somebody's husband, and they branded her a witch, and that's how it got started. It was some nonsense like that.
Probably. It's got to be something like that. But it's ridiculous. It's like, but they've really believed in this stuff.
Yeah.
They thought people were witches. They thought people put the Malagya on them. They actually will sit there, and how to take away the Malagya. It's the weirdest thing, the evil eye, right? They'll have a bowl of water, and they'll do some prayer with some oil on your head and over the bowl of water, and then they'll do droplets of oil in the water, and if bubbles show up, that means someone gave you the evil eye, and then they got to take it away by saying the rest of the whatever, incantation or prayer. And it's like, bubbles are always going to kind of show up when you drop oil in water, right? Like... What? I don't know, but it's so crazy. It's way off topic, though.
Man, they're so weird. They're so weird.
I think insane traditions are kind of in the vein of the topic, though. I think one day people are going to look at the stuff that we do now and go, "What they did? What?
Yeah.
They let a corporation do what? Like." Because, I mean, that's what Santa is. Santa's Coke, right? So, I mean, between, it's what, Coke and FAO Schwartz is where it came from, right?
Yeah.
Current Santa was from Norman Rockwell. He was like the most... He's the one that...
not true.
The previous incarnation of that was from an 1840s poet who... There's two people.
The Night Before Christmas, right?
The Night Before Christmas who added to it, and then there was a guy who was an original artist who started formulating in visual art what we think of now today as the current Santa. Yeah. And then modern in the 1900s, it was Norman Rockwell that made the red. He standardized it. Sure. There was always the beard and stuff, but Norman Rockwell was the guy that gave him the red hat, the red and white fur and all that, and the belts and the chubbiness and the big beard. So he was the guy that did that, and basically ever since then, it's kind of been a standard image of him. But yeah, it all started in the 1800s with those two guys. I'm also trying to look up now crazy things.
Do you guys want a special guest on this episode real quick?
Yes. Depends. Is it Krampus? Because fuck that.
Is it Uncle Tony?
Is it?
Let me see if I can get him on.
You gonna tell us the story?
I'm gonna have him do it. It's gonna be far more entertaining.
All right.
Hold on a sec, guys. Let me see if I can get him. Can I make a phone call out from this, or does that cost me?
I think it costs you. I don't think you can.
Damn it.
Just record it and tag it in.
Yeah. All right, ready? Well, you know what I'm going to do? Watch.
I think-
Let me do this. I'm going to put him on speakerphone. Let's see if this works. Can you guys hear that?
Barely.
All right. I don't know if he's
Apparently, Krampus got Uncle Tony.
Oh, because he's going to tell the story of the. But he just texted me back. He said it's not a witch; it's a warlock that you stop. And I'm like, okay, how do you stop them?
Well,
Well, I'll have the conversation with him, and I will get it on this.
yeah. I mean, I think at this point we're kind of winding down from the topic anyway.
Yeah.
So you can expect in this episode, a story coming up from Uncle Tony.
Oh, here it is. So he said it was in the middle of the night. Papa, who we used to call my grandfather his father, buried a knife in the wooden floor upstairs where he was, and that froze the warlock. And then he and his father went down into the stable and beat the shit out of the warlock.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Oh. So who was the warlock with?
I'm waiting.
I guarantee you.
I have the iMessage ellipses right now that I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
To
I
be
bet
continued.
the warlock I hope you can hear the air quotes. The warlock was a farmhand from down the road, and he was with someone he wasn't supposed to be.
Oh.
Probably. But stabbing a knife into the floor is hilarious.
Well, he probably did. He probably he's doing what? And stabbed the knife in the floor because he was angry, and then ran down the stairs and beat the hell out of some dude in the barn.
My uncle goes, personally, I would just shoot or run the guy over. That sounds much easier.
Calm down, Tony.
He's joking. He's joking.
We're not trying to.
Chill out. Try throwing some water on him first. Maybe beat him with some pussy willow. Start mixing it up.
I swear to God, the way you say pussy willow is going to make me laugh all night.
That's fantastic. This is awesome. Oh gosh. All right, let's move towards wrapping this up. I think Caitlin's going to be up very soon.
It's getting late.
So just two quick topics, right? Well, you know what? Let's just end it with one. It's Christmas time, and I love Christmas time. I love the magic of Christmas, but nothing gets me in the mood better than Christmas specials. And Earl, you were talking about the Invader Zim one. Tell us why you loved it.
Oh, Invader Zim, because of the song. It's a song it's a song number as he assembles his army in a robotic Santa, and it's got this line about the jolly boots of doom that just makes me laugh every time. And the only other one that's even close is Futurama with John Goodman as Robot Santa is also
Yes.
just brilliant.
Oh, I like how Robot Santa's the opposite. Everyone hides on Christmas Eve in Futurama, right?
Right.
Goes around killing everybody.
He's just a full-on assault, dropping bombs from the sleigh. And it's John Goodman's voice, and it makes me laugh every time.
It is awesome. So, this one doesn't get me in the Christmas spirit, but I'm going to go back to American Dad because I think they have amazing Christmas specials. But one of my... time out. Do you hear that?
No.
That is the ending music that I need to push up further back. I didn't think we were going to record this. So
you had it scheduled in Audacity.
Yeah. It's like, Mike, shut up. That's basically what it's doing. So going back to American Dad, it's another Christmas episode, but it's one of my favorites, Rapture's Delight. And I think, John, I made you watch this one because it's so awesome. On Christmas, everybody gets raptured. But Stan doesn't end up getting raptured because decides he's going to sleep with his wife in the church during midnight mass. Then there's the second coming of Jesus or whatever. Then it turns into this whole apocalyptic movie, post-apocalyptic movie. It's It's fantastic. Go watch it.
is
Earl, if
pretty
you haven't
funny.
seen it, it's called Rapture's Delight. It's my favorite episode. But my favorite Christmas specials from when I was a kid, I don't know who made it, but it was a super creepy version of the Christmas Carol that was animated, and Bob Marley used to scare the shit out of me. Scrooge.
Was it the Rankin Bass? Was it one of theirs?
It might have been. I can't remember which one because I haven't seen it in so long. Think I need to find it. And then one that always hit home for me, the Pac-Man on Christmas. I don't know, for some reason it always aired, even though the Pac-Man show went off the air like after one season in the 80s. Like I always saw it every year. And the Flintstone Christmas Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles commercials. They're like the same one. Just
I know
every
that
year.
one.
It's like,
Yep.
I'm hungry. When I see that, I'm like, now I'm in the Christmas mood. Brownie.
What about you, John?
Oh man, I don't know if it's cool, but one thing that always gets me is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Oh, the claymation.
Yeah, that is something that's ingrained in my tradition of Christmas. I don't need to watch it every year, but like that's every time I see a reference or hear a reference to it, it just brings me right back.
Oh.
That and funny enough, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a good
Something
one.
about that movie and something about that song in the main title song that just also brings me right back to Christmas.
It's brilliant. That movie's amazing.
I love it, man. Randy Quaid, Shooter's Full.
Oh, Grace died
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
Pledge
movie.
allegiance to
It-
the flag.
Christmas Story, and because I have the leg lamp. I actually have the leg lamp here. And
Do you?
I
Oh
do.
man,
I have
gotta get one of those too. That's
I
a
have-
close second for me. That's a very close second for me.
I have the full size one. It was delivered to me on Christmas Eve in a wooden crate. And the UPS guy hated me so much because he knew what was in the box and he was having to work on Christmas Eve and drag that thing up my stairs. And it's literally in the window downstairs right now, lit up.
That's fantastic.
Perfect.
It's Scrooged.
I
Oh,
love
true.
Scrooge.
Yes, that's
I love
also
that
that's
movie.
like a yeah, definitely. Every
The
year,
last-
Bill Murray. Gotta
if
be
you
Bill
wanna-
Murray.
If you want to sum up how I feel about Christmas, it's the last 5 minutes of Scrooged, where he goes, "Oh, by the way, here, just take a here."
Just here.
That's how I feel about Christmas.
Fa la 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 la.
I
love
think that's
Bobcat in that movie.
yeah, oh yeah. Everybody's great in that movie. Every single person. Oh God, the old
Both of his
actor.
brothers are in that movie too. There's two
They
other
are?
Murrays in that film.
They are in fact one of them plays his brother. One
Yeah.
plays his dad. One plays his brother.
Exactly. It's
Yep.
crazy. Nobody knows.
But the
Buster Poindexter's
Robert
in it,
Mitchum.
too.
Robert
Yes,
Mitchum, his
Staten
boss.
Island.
Oh,
Robert Mitchell.
Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum. Yep.
He played
Buster
A lot of names in
Poindexter.
that. Yeah, Buster Poindexter.
The
such a
woman
good
who
movie.
was the love interest. I can't think of the actress's name, but she was the love interest in
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep. There's so many people in that movie. I love it so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. That is one of my favorites.
Oh.
You want to know what's weird is I actually saw that in the theater when it came out. And
Wow.
around Christmas time, just like the following year, we actually saw Batman in the theater, which was awesome.
I remember Batman in the theater too.
But Scrooged in the theater, watching that at 4 years old, was an experience. It was not
I
the
bet.
same movie that I saw 2 years later that I thought was funny. Because there's some
I
like
can imagine it being
terrifying
pretty
imagery.
scary.
There's some scary imagery in that movie, right? You like there's one part where he sees Bobcat frozen dead in the sewer, right?
It's actually not Bobcat. I
Who
thought it
was
was too. It's one of the guys from the homeless shelter.
Oh, it wasn't Bobcat
It is
Goldthwait?
not. It is not Bobcat. It's one of the guys that
Am
his
I remembering
ex.
the movie wrong?
No, there's a guy it's frozen downstairs. It's the one of the There's 3 people
At the
that
homeless
his
shelter.
ex-girlfriend are in their homeless shelter with. It's one of those guys that's down there.
So you used to think the same thing, though. It was Bobcat?
I did. He looks a lot like Bobcat. It's not Bobcat.
Man, I got to watch the movie again. I haven't watched it in years.
The guy looks like Penn and Teller. He looks a lot like Teller.
Teller, yeah.
You're
right.
Says just as much, too.
Yep, it's that guy. He's got a round, kind of pudgy face.
That's funny. I can't believe we
I
both
remember
remember
the
it the
guy's
same
name.
way.
He was in other stuff too. Like in the
for
80s,
sure.
he was kind of popular. I forget what. I can't. I remember what. But
Damn.
Ugh.
That's a good movie.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Last topic. Best Christmas memory.
Oh, easy. Easy. And I'll just go personal, related to me, not related to my kids.
That's what we want.
Personal to me, the one time my fuck up mother pulled it together and she managed to get me the 4 original Ninja Turtles. And I had all 4 of them for Christmas.
Amazing.
Yep.
That's awesome. And you still have them to this day, don't you?
I do, in fact. Never opened them. They're still in the boxes.
That's so awesome. That's really cool.
Awesome.
That must have been brought the biggest smile to your face that morning.
Oh, and then when you put it in context of how many other things my mom screwed up. Oh, yeah.
Oh man. What about you, John?
I guess it would be. There's 2 that stick out. One would be the first Christmas I had actually right after my dad left, which was around Christmas time. I just remember it because of that, I guess, as a downer, but more because of how my mom kept it together. She was also during my parents' separation. It was around 9-10 years old. She was not usually very good at keeping her cool, and she would freak out a lot. And it was tough. She put not a lot of blame or anything like that on us, my sister and I, but, we had to be with her a lot, and she kind of vented a lot through us, But that first Christmas, she kind of similar, I guess. She kind of held it together, and it was just the way that she carried herself, made it feel not so crazy. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget it because she still made it feel like home, even when it obviously wasn't for a while. You know what I mean?
It takes a really strong person to do that.
Yeah, it does. And and she is, and it was just it was great that she was able to do that, and it meant a lot, and that's something that stands out. And the other memory I have is my sister and I. There's not one memory, but every year we had our own group, our own little club that we made for each other. It was called AJ. It was really original because my sister's name is Amy and my name is John. So we had a club called AJ, and every year we would hold a Christmas party up until about she was 15 and maybe I was 12. But every year we would have a Christmas party, Christmas Eve. We would buy our own little goodies from our savings throughout the year and hold a little Christmas party, and that was very special every year for us.
That's awesome.
So
have you ever brought it back?
No, not really. I mean, I guess we kind of do because we always still see each other Christmas Eve, and we talk about it and reminisce about some of the crazier times about it. But that's always a warm reminiscence of Christmas for us as well. So
That's awesome.
I would definitely say those 2 things.
I'm gonna sound like an asshole for giving you guys my favorite memory. It's mine is I have a lot of good memories around Christmas time, but my favorite Christmas ever, so far, right? I'm sure I'm gonna have a pretty good one soon, but was with my dad. It was the weirdest thing. So I was doing this event out in Minnesota, and there was basically like a blizzard. I was stuck there, and I was forced to drive back a 26-foot box truck from Minnesota to there. But it was totally delayed because The person who was originally supposed to be driving it forgot to plug the truck in. It's a diesel truck, and I don't know if you know, if you have diesel fuel in the winter and below freezing temperatures, it turns into jelly, basically. So you're supposed to keep it plugged in so it warms it up. So there was no way I was going to get back up to Rhode Island to see, my extended family or the rest of my family up there, rest of my immediate family, my brothers and stuff. But I did know that I was going to be back in the Jersey area on Christmas Eve around like 4 or 5 o'clock. And my dad had just moved to Philly, and he was planning on just spending Christmas and Christmas Eve by himself. So I was like, let's do this. So I called him up. I'm like, look, I'm going to make it there. Just me and you. Let's do this. So he picks me up from the office after I drop off that truck, and we start driving down to Philadelphia. We stop at a liquor store on the way because we're like, we're going to get trashed. This is going to be a blast. And as we start walking in, there's a man who comes up to us in a bloody lab coat. And is like, hey, guys, follow me. We're like, what? He brings us around back to a van. And now you're going to ask, why did you follow the guy? It's Christmas Eve. Come on. It's magic. And he's like, you guys want to buy some steaks? He worked at the local butcher place over there, the slaughterhouse. And he had all these ribeye steaks. We bought 10 ribeye steaks, awesome size, for I think it was $30. And then we went to the liquor store and realized that we had more money that we could spend on liquor. So we did that. We went back to his place. We cooked up the ribeye steak. We had a bunch of drinks. We went out to a bar. I made my dad drink his first car bomb, and then he proceeded to drink his second, third, fourth, and fifth with me. And by the time we got back to his place, he's trying to open the back door. I stumble through his back door, accidentally break the front door to the apartment place. And we just like, oh, whatever. Then we get into his place, pass out, wake up the next day, and made ribeye and eggs for breakfast, and then drank a little bit more the rest of that day. It was just a good, easy Christmas. But it was also
That's
good.
Beautiful,
because,
man. No, it's great.
It's a good sound. The ribeye things, I was like, at first when you see the guy walk up with the bloody lab coat, I kind of stood in front of my dad with the arm out, stay back,
Do you still eat ribeyes every Christmas?
I wish. Not everybody eats ribeye at Christmas, but I want
Too bad, but you could.
Yeah. Well,
I'm making a rib roast this year.
All right. Well,
nice.
close.
Yeah. So I will enjoy some prime rib for you.
Oh, for me, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm a giver.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm just glad I don't have to do the 7 fish this year, the Italian thing at North. A lot of people are like, "Why, you're crazy?" It's like, well, because
a lot of people do that, huh?
Yeah. Well, the 7 fish thing. My grandmother used to have eels swimming around in the sink in the kitchen.
Vicious.
Yeah. I'm like, does that count as a fish? But I guess it does. So. Yeah, but it was way too much. The house stunk for 3 days. It's like, Merry Christmas, pine scents and fish.
Oh.
Yeah, there's always There's
Pine
still
fish.
lasagna and all this other stuff too, and antipasta. There was always too much food.
Well, that's another tradition of ours too, I guess. Is that my mom always cooks 5 courses, and I'm like, we can't even eat meat or something. Why are you? We have stuffed, we have lobster tail, stuffed clams, stuffed shrimp tail, shrimp scampi. I'm like, Jesus Christ! You don't have to make all the substitute meat dinners.
All right. Anyway, I am going to wrap up what I had to say. I don't think I have anything else to say.
First and foremost, I'm sorry for Lou. I hope he's okay. At his
He'll
power
be fine.
outage.
He'll be fine.
But missed
Lou,
him.
if you're listening, sorry you weren't able to join the show. But we wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. And to all our listeners out there, we wish
Krampus
all of you. Yeah. Happy Krampusnacht.
Krampusnacht.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa, Festivus. What else is there? Krampusnacht. What's the other one? Ringus Dingus. And
That's Easter, though. That's Easter.
That's okay. That's okay. It's Christmas to me now.
Kwanzaa? It's Kwanzaa-ish now?
It's Kwanzaa-ish in December, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Kwanzaa. All right, there you go.
Yep. And
Back.
December enjoy it if you don't celebrate any of those. Enjoy the New Year's celebration. We wish all your families all the happiness and whateverness, stability, I guess, right? I'm not going to get too crazy with it. What do you guys want to say?
I mean, I don't know. We've covered a lot in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've learned a lot. We've also learned nothing.
Yep.
Good luck. Take
how
care
we
of
do
yourselves and do the best you can.
Yeah. This Talkin' Dads episode was brought to you by Krampus.
Yeah.
Oh, one last question. Earl, have you heard Dominic the Donkey on the radio yet?
No. No. 2, no. Who listens to the radio?
That's right. Well, people do. Yeah.
What's the radio?
I'm gonna go outside and grab my newspaper and tune into the radio. I'll get right on that.
You are hilarious. Come on, you drive around. So, Christmas time, I feel like is the only time I still listen to the radio. I'll listen in.
I do. I do the same thing everyone is doing right now, listening to podcasts.
Well, good.
There you go.
Maybe I should play it on here.
No.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be the exit song for this Christmas episode.
There you go.
I'll do
There
that.
it is.
Jingity jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. All right, guys. Happy holidays. Thanks, listeners. Don't forget to visit us on our social media sites. Facebook.com/Talkin Dads. That's TalkinDads. Mention us on Twitter. Visit our Patreon page if you'd like to support us and give us a little bit of Christmas joy. We'd love that. This is the new season of the Talkin Dads podcast. We promise to put them out more regularly, and most likely they're going to be uncut, just like this episode here, because when you're a parent, you have no time.
So crack a beer and relax. And
Listen
enjoy.
to us be stupid, but also try to be fun and informative. Yeah, crack a beer. Merry
Indeed.
Christmas. Happy holidays, guys. Thanks for listening.
Happy Christmas and all around.
What do they say in the North Pole, Earl?
We're watching
Jiggity jig. We're watching you. Shame on you. That's what it is. Shame.
Or as they say in Poland.
Shame. Shame on you.
Thanks again, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.